So this Wayne Brown's supposed to help us get our marriage started off on the right foot, huh?
That's the idea. To give us some advice on how to live a long and happy life as husband and wife.
Need a counselor for all of that? I know how to make you happy. You sure know how to make me happy?
That's true, but let's just get a second opinion from an expert.
This guy knows his stuff, huh?
That's what I've heard. Although Darla did say he was a little different.
Different how?
I don't know, she just said different.
Well, if that's what you want, baby, I'll do it for you.
So what do you make of the findings?
Thought we would have gotten some different results from the males, though.
I thought the same thing, but the data doesn't support that.
So what's your next step? What you gonna do?
That's why I'm here. I need your input.
I know, but you're the one working on the project, so you tell me, what do you think your next step ought to be?
Well...
Oh, that's about 2 o'clock. You mind getting that for me?
Okay. We'll talk about this later. Hi, I'm Tondra Montgomery, and this is my fiance, Doug Watkins. We have a 2 o'clock appointment with Wayne Brown. Hi, I'm Callista. You can come on in.
Come on in. Have a sit down. We're not gonna hurt you. My, you are a lovely young lady. You sure you want to get married?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay. Big guy, that's something else that you got there. You think you can handle her? Hey, I'm just joking. No, don't worry about it. Callista here is a graduate student in behavioral psychology, and I've asked her to sit in on our session, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
No problem.
All right, good. Let's start off and have you just tell me a little bit about yourselves, and we'll start off with you, pretty little lady.
Well, I'm Tondra Montgomery. I'm 22 years old, and I just graduated from the University of Pittsburgh with a degree in childhood education. And I truly want to marry this man sitting next to me.
Are you sure about that? I'm just joking, sir.
I'm Doug Watkins. I'm 24. I just got out of the Army, and I'm now working for a trucking company. And I very much want Tondra to be my wife.
How long have you guys known each other?
3 years.
3 years, okay. And how long have you been in a serious, intimate relationship?
For about a year and a half.
So 3 years, year and a half. So you want to get married now?
Yes.
Okay. Are you pregnant?
No.
Why would you ask her something like that?
Well, just, took you a year and a half to get serious, another year and a half before you decided to get married. I mean, I'm just doing some fact-finding here, that's all.
Well, I don't care what you call it. We're here to get counseling, not to be interrogated. We want to get married, and we just need you to give us some advice on how to have a healthy marriage.
But now here's something you ought to understand. First of all, I am not a marriage counselor. I'm a relationships expert, okay? That's the first thing you ought to understand. The second thing that you ought to understand is that I just really don't buy into this traditional concept of marriage. It creates such unrealistic expectations in people. Now, you understand what this traditional concept of marriage is all about, don't you?
It's what a man and a woman do when they love each other.
Oh, strike the love card. Marriage and love have absolutely nothing to do with each other. You could marry this man and not love him a day in your life. The two are mutually exclusive.
So you're saying love is a bad thing?
No. On the contrary. Love is wonderful. Love is kind. Love is grand. To have someone that you care about and someone care about you, oh, that's the greatest thing in the world. We need it. As humans, we need it. But it has absolutely nothing to do with marriage.
Well, I don't believe that. You get married because you love each other and you want to be with each other forever.
And because you want to be with someone forever, does that mean you have to walk down an aisle and say, I do?
I don't agree with what you're saying. Love is the cornerstone of marriage. It's the foundation for which it is built. Now, you're supposed to be helping us, not trying to turn us against getting married.
Look, my goal here is not to change your mind, But I think it's important that we be realistic about this thing. Do you understand that marriage is really about ownership? That's what it's about. A man declares a woman, she takes his name, bears his children, and gives up herself, her freedom, all because some man declares her as his.
Now hold on. That's not right. Women don't belong to their husbands. They're partners, sharing all the responsibilities that come along with the marriage.
Tondra's right. You make it sound like some kind of servant master thing. It's not that way at all. It's about respect, loyalty, and yes, love.
Well, you can believe that if you want to, but actually women are expected, for the most part, to bow down.
No, you're wrong. It's not about bowing down.
You know, there are some women who are afraid to spend a dime without first checking with their husbands. You've got other women who allow their husbands to tell them who their friends can and cannot be. And then you got other women that think it's fine for them to stay home and change diapers while their husbands are running off someplace in a strip club. And I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about 50 years ago when women didn't have much power at all.
It's a woman's prerogative to decide how she wants her marriage to work.
Well, it sounds pretty submissive to me.
Where are you getting this stuff from?
Men by nature are possessive. They want what they want, and they want everybody else to know. Been that way forever. Marriage is a way for men to say, this woman belongs to me, and you better not mess with her.
You're making this stuff up, man.
Men only accept marriage for its legal aspect because it locks the woman in.
You haven't said one word about commitment. Doug wants to be with me because he's committed to us having a future together.
Could be.
Is.
Men don't need marriage to care. Men don't need ceremony to be devoted. Men don't need marriage to be committed.
They don't need it, but they do it because it's the right thing to do when you love someone. That's just the way it is.
Men accept marriage for its legal concept. Think about this. You ever heard the term illegitimate child?
Yeah?
Okay, and what does that mean?
It's when the parents of the child aren't married.
So, if the mother and father of a child are not married, somehow that child is illegitimate? What kind of sense does that make?
But a child deserves to have both parents with them.
I agree with that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But does that require marriage to make that child legal?
I think it does. Like I said before, it's about a commitment.
And by walking down that aisle, you're telling the world that you're committed.
Right.
Men don't need that. Callista, tell them about that study we did on men and commitment.
Well, we had a recent study that showed that 7 out of 10 married men said that they didn't have to be married to be committed to their partner. That marriage was only a way to claim and maintain possession of their woman. Other than that, men didn't really care about being married, but they were very committed.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Brown. Are you married?
Not at the present time, no.
Ever been?
3 times.
Aha, that explains it. That's why you're so against marriage.
Having a little trouble getting it right, huh?
So you're probably planning a big wedding, huh?
Yes, it's going to be pretty big.
Big reception.
I tried to get her to cut back, but we're probably going to have 350, 400 people.
Big reception, big wedding. Waste of time and money.
What?
Big old wedding reception, spending all that money on a reception and a wedding has absolutely nothing to do with a satisfying, healthy relationship.
But it's my day. I get to have it the way I want it.
You've probably been looking forward to it since you were a little girl, huh?
It's every girl's dream. To be the center of attention, to have everyone doing everything for you. What's wrong with that?
Nothing, if you like celebrating servitude. But tell me, how is a big old ceremony and celebration, How's that going to enhance your relationship with your husband?
Because he'll be there sharing it all with me.
I won't. On the wedding day, the husband is totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Like you said, it's your day.
Well, really, it's our day.
Oh, no, don't change now. You were right the first time. The wedding day is all about the woman. But then again, I guess it should be that way if you want to celebrate your last days of freedom.
Well, I don't see it that way.
Well, that's fine. Think about it. Weddings. $1 billion industry. They play on your emotions to get you to spend all that money. People fly off to the Bahamas, Jamaica, spending all that good money. $3,000 for a video. How much sense does that make? Wouldn't it make more sense to take that money and save it, or maybe buy a house, or just put it back, so that when you're starting out with something instead of being in a whole bunch of debt? Look, I've got this program that I want you guys to consider. It's called the marriage contract, and now Callista has been working on this project with me.
Marriage contract?
Yeah, it's a binding agreement between two people getting married.
Isn't that what marriage vows are for?
Well,
I think I've had enough. What about you?
Let's just hear this, and then we'll leave.
okay. The marriage contract has to do with licensing your marriage over a 20-year period.
We get a license anyways. Why do we need some contract?
Actually, it's more than just getting a license. It's an ongoing process where you periodically renew your license of marriage. It also serves as kind of an insurance policy.
I've never heard of anything like this.
Well, it's a new concept. I mean, the whole idea of a marriage license is kind of ridiculous anyway. So I thought, hey, I'll take this ridiculous concept and try to give it some usefulness.
You basically get a new license when you complete each stage of the program.
Now, do you two live together?
No, I wouldn't do that. It's against my religion.
Okay, well, no problem. Don't want to offend you or anything, but okay. Well, stage one is where the two people that decided they want to get married, where they live together for 90 days to learn how to share space and things.
I just told you I couldn't do that.
But just let me give you the whole program before you make up your mind. Now, like I said, in stage one, you live together. Now, you've been together, how long did you say your relationship is?
3 years.
3 years, okay. And so in that time, would you say that you know pretty much everything about each other?
I think we know each other pretty well. Don't you, Doug?
I'd say so.
Well, then you probably don't mind me asking a couple of questions then, do you?
No.
Okay, cool. Tondra, how does Doug like his coffee? Okay, that's fine, Right. Doug, what is Tondra's mother's maiden name?
Mary Lou?
Okay, fine. Tondra. How many kids does Doug want?
3, right?
You know, I don't think we've ever really discussed that.
I thought we did. There are 3 of us in my family.
I know, but I don't remember ever talking about that.
Don't feel bad. Research has shown that a lot of couples don't discuss children before getting married.
Okay. Well, just let me ask one more question and we'll be done with this part of it, okay? Doug, if the trucking company decided that they wanted to move you down to a position down south, would you go?
I don't know. I guess it would depend on what they would be offering me and all.
You never said you wanted to move. I want to stay here with my family.
But if a good opportunity came along, I think we should at least talk about it.
So that's what stage one is about. Learning about each other, getting to know about each other. Now, of course, in stage one, sex is permitted, but for recreation only, not for procreation.
What?
Yeah, well, see, sometimes pregnancy makes couples make decisions that, aren't real good ones.
Do you believe this mess?
Now, what you'll do is then you'll come back and we'll evaluate you at that 90-day period.
You want to listen to this?
Now, if you still want to get married, we'll issue you a 1-year marriage certificate.
What is that?
It's a document that states that you have gone through the fact-finding process and are ready to commit to the relationship.
A regular marriage license says that we're committed. What's the difference?
Here's the difference. With the marriage contract, what you'll do before you get that certificate, that 1-year certificate, you'll sit down and actually hammer out a contract, negotiating various points about your relationship.
Hammer out a contract?
This is really one of the highlights of the program. You both get to list exactly what you expect from your spouse, what you expect in the relationship.
I mean, it spells everything out.
Who's responsible for what?
Who brings what into the relationship and how is it shared?
What's the penalty for infidelity?
Hell, what is infidelity?
You two spell it all out in the contract.
And what we'll do is we'll give you a whole list of things to question and negotiate during your 90-day period.
You're just talking about a prenup.
Kind of, but it's more than that. What this does is it deals with more than just the end of the relationship. It really talks about what is expected in the relationship. What are the terms and conditions that govern this particular relationship?
Well, that doesn't sound like a big deal to me.
But it is. It is. It's saying exactly what a relationship is, exactly what this partnership is. It's a binding agreement that requires that the terms and conditions be adhered to.
Well, I don't want to participate in this program. It seems so contrary to what marriage is supposed to be about.
And your desire to hold on to those traditional thoughts about marriage are understandable. But let me finish the program.
Maybe it is time to go. Do you want to hear the rest of this program stuff?
I was ready to go a long time ago, but this contract stuff is kind of interesting.
Excuse me?
You know I'm on the bargaining committee at work.
Doug, this has nothing to do with work.
I know, but maybe we should just hear the whole thing out. Just because we listen doesn't mean we have to do it, right?
Now, once you sign the contract, you'll receive that 1-year certificate, and you can go off and have that big old wedding ceremony that you think is so important.
At the end of the first year, you'll come back and we'll review the relationship at that point.
What kind of review?
We'll assess how the relationship has been going, what kind of things you've had to put up with, and just what other kinds of things we may want to add to it.
This is just crazy.
We do our assessment, and then we make our recommendation.
Of course, you have the absolute right to accept or reject any recommendation that we make.
Our evaluation is based strictly on the relationship.
Observable and verifiable data.
So you won't even consider the fact that we love each other and we want to be with each other for the rest of our lives?
But that's not for us to consider.
So at this 1-year assessment thing, say you recommend we stay together. Do we get our 20-year license?
Actually, no. What happens is then, at the end of that year, we renegotiate another 5-year contract. You put in stuff that you want, and you take out stuff that you don't like.
This is just like our labor contract.
Exactly. You renew it every 5 years.
I just don't see the point of all this. We take our vows. We promise to love, honor, and cherish each other to death do us part. How does having to renew a contract make any difference?
If the relationship is working, then what you do is you come back and you negotiate another 5 years and go from there. If the relationship is not working, then you simply don't renew the contract. No messy divorces.
That's what I mean when I say it's kind of like an insurance policy. Your back is always covered because you know when the contract is going to end.
Is this legal?
It is in this state. It is in this state, and there's a couple other states around us that it's legal in as well. But I expect this thing to take off real soon, all over.
This is so disrespectful to the sanctity of marriage. It's almost as bad as allowing marriage between 2 men or 2 women.
So the contract is renewable every 5 years. But what if things aren't working out and you still have a couple of years left on the contract?
You can put a buyout clause in your contract that says what happens if one party wants to terminate the relationship early.
Now, it might cost you a house, it might cost you a car, it might cost you a chunk of change, but really that's, again, something that you negotiate.
But at least you won't be wasting a whole lot of money on lawyers.
I can't believe you're listening to this.
I'm just asking, honey. What if one party doesn't want to renew the contract, but the other party does? What happens then?
Why are you asking all these stupid questions?
I'm just curious.
The contract can only be renewed if both parties want it renewed. That's the only way that it can be. So what has to happen is we would hope that you guys will get together and know that before we even get to the end of the contract.
So at the end of the contract, Doug could simply say, I don't want to renew, and the marriage is over just like that?
That's correct. Just like that. That's correct. But again, we would hope that you would have created the kind of relationship, the kind of openness, that you would know that before we got to that point.
Have you had enough of this nuttiness? Let's go.
Hold on a second. So the assessment and renewal is every 5 years?
For the first 20 years only. After that, you're on your own.
You know, this all makes sense. If you're running a business or something. But marriage shouldn't be like that.
But it is. When you say I do, you're making an oral commitment to put up with and deal with things you never thought would happen.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
People say I do. And they figure, oh, she'll never cheat on me. He won't leave me with the kids. They never consider those things happening.
What we're proposing with the marriage contract is to call it like it is. Let's set up some clear rules and guidelines.
Let's make sure there are clear expectations.
And then, if things don't seem to be working out, let's have a practical way to end the relationship without a whole lot of bitterness.
You make everything seem so negative. Do you actually have people buying into this mess?
Actually, we've got, about 9 couples that have gone through the program right now.
We'll give you a testimonial video to watch.
No, that won't be necessary. We're leaving.
So how are those 9 couples doing on the program?
Actually, the results are kind of mixed. The one couple, they're just finishing up their 4th year, but they're probably not going to renew after 5 years. Never really dealt with the issue of infidelity.
One couple didn't make it through the 90-day trial period. Never learned how to communicate.
I have to admit, this whole idea is a little weird, but it does have some logic to it. Whack logic, but logic nonetheless.
All I know is you shouldn't be allowed to do marriage counseling. And I don't know how you work for this man. He shows no respect to the institution and all that it means.
Well, then you guys think about it now and let me know. We'll keep a spot open for you, okay?
You're a nut.
Have a nice day. And look, don't worry about paying on the way out. We'll bill you.
Can you believe that clown? He is absolutely crazy.
Definitely different. But I have to say, some of the stuff did kind of make sense.
Makes sense. Excuse me? Were you in there with me?
Yeah, maybe his disdain for marriage is not so good, but he did make some good points about relationships. You know, getting to know each other better and understanding exactly what we want from the relationship.
Well, I definitely don't know who you are right now.
And really, that's what we care about, right? Our relationship.
I can't believe you would give any value to anything that was said in there. The man hates marriage. We're just gonna have to get another counselor.
Well, I don't think we need to do that.
And why not?
I just don't think we really need this whole counseling mess.
Oh, so counseling's mess now, huh?
I mean, why do we need other people to tell us how to get along with each other?
Because my family said we do, my church says we do, and if they say it's the right thing to do, then it's the right thing to do. End of discussion.
So, what do you give them, a year?
Year? 6 months, if they get married at all.
So now, are you going to help me with my research?
I told you, you're the one doing it. You have to let me know what you want to do.
You're not going to help me out, are you?
I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you as soon as I finish with my game.
Oh, so your game's more important, huh?
Well, you know.